Hello, fellow Wolverines, and welcome back to Wolf TV SportsCenter. My name is Audrey Setnar.
And I'm Connor Woolley.
In this week's episode, we'll be covering football's win against Purdue, men's basketball's first game of the season against Oakland, men's hockey series against Notre Dame, field hockey's game against Indiana, men's soccer games against Detroit Mercy in Wisconsin, volleyball's matches against Penn State and Purdue, and we'll be looking ahead to football's next matchup against Northwestern at Wrigley Field.
This past Saturday, November 1st, your Wolverines eked out a rather ugly win, defeating unranked Purdue at home 21-16. The first scoring play of the game came with just under 2 minutes left in the first, off of a huge 54-yard rushing touchdown from Jordan Marshall. Purdue's following drive took up over half of the second quarter, ending in a 2-yard rushing touchdown from running back Antonio Harris. On our following drive, the offense was knocking on the door in the red zone, but Bryce threw a pick to cornerback Hundari Hines to kill that momentum. However, we got the ball back with less than a minute to go in the half and managed to squeeze in a 3-yard rushing touchdown from none other than Jordan Marshall to make the score 14-7 heading into the break.
Coming out of the locker room, the third quarter was rather uneventful. Purdue kicker Spencer Porath nailed a 50-yarder, bringing them up to 10 points. To begin the fourth quarter, the Michigan defense made a huge fourth down stop, forcing a turnover on the downs at the 50-yard line. The offense took advantage of the shorter field thanks to Jordan Marshall's third touchdown on the day, making it 21-10. Purdue would score on their following drive from a 5-yard passing touchdown, but their 2-point conversion attempt failed, making the final score 21-16. Bryce had another mediocre game, going 13 for 22 with 145 passing yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. As per usual, the run game was our saving grace, with Jordan Marshall having 185 rushing yards on 25 carries with 3 touchdowns. He'll need to keep having similar performances for the rest of the season, given that Justice Haynes is set to have foot surgery and will likely miss the remainder of the season.
On November 3rd, men's basketball hosted Oakland University at Chrysler Center in a non-conference matchup, honoring the Big Ten Tournament Championship by raising that banner into the rafters of the arena, the first banner raising since the 2021 Big Ten Championship. The Wolverines dominated over the Grizzlies, resulting in a 121-78 game, marking only the 6th time in program history that Michigan has scored more than 120 points in a game. Sophomore Morez Johnson Jr. led with 24 points, 20 coming in the first half alone. For the first time in program history, 7 Wolverines tallied double digits, including freshman Trey McKinney. 8 Wolverines contributed to a program record first half 69 points. Second-year coach Dusty May's son Charlie May added his first career points with a late 3-pointer in the game. The Wolverines will travel to Little Caesars Arena for another non-conference matchup against Wake Forest on November 11th.
The men's hockey team took on Notre Dame in South Bend for their first Big Ten matchup. The Wolverines won 5-3, tallying 4 power play goals. Sophomore Will Horkoff was able to score 2 power play goals for his 3rd multi-goal game of the season. Captain TJ Hughes scored the 5th goal, tying for 50th place in all-time scoring for the program. Competition continued into Saturday when Michigan took on Notre Dame for the 2nd game of the series. The Wolverines trailed going into the 3rd when Nick Moldenhauer scored the tying goal that carried the game into overtime, where Horkoff netted the game-winning goal, his 10th of the season. The team is now 9-1 on the season for the first time since the 2007-2008 season. The guys return home this weekend to take on the undefeated Wisconsin Badgers at Yost Ice Arena.
On Friday, October 31st, the number 14 Michigan field hockey team wrapped up regular season play at home with a 3-1 win over the number 17 Indiana Hoosiers. Goals came late from Abby Burnett late in the first, Esme de Villahen late in the third, and Abby Tamer just 15 seconds before the game concluded. The Wolverines will be seeded 4th in Big Ten tournament play beginning on Thursday, November 6th at 11 a.m. as they face off against the 5th-seeded Rutgers.
On Tuesday, October 28th, the Michigan men's soccer team tallied a 4-0 win against Detroit Mercy at home, making an undefeated regular season in out-of-conference play. Nicholas Cassidy opened scoring with a goal in the 13th minute, followed by a penalty by Matar Mitrovic in the 60th, Grayson Almquist with his 6th goal of the season in the 65th, and Will Baker with his first career goal in the 66th. The Wolverines continued at-home play against Wisconsin on Friday, October 31st. Matar Mitrovic scored first at just over a minute into the game, and though they were able to fire off 4 more shots in the first half, Wisconsin tied it up going into the second half. Michigan continued to dominate possession, getting 6 more shots in before Dylan Davis was able to break through with his first career goal at Michigan in the 82nd minute to win the game. The Wolverines will travel to conclude the regular season at Penn State on Friday, November 7th at 8 p.m.
On Friday night, October 31st, Michigan outlasted Penn State in a 5-set thriller at the Chrysler Center, 3-2. After dropping the opener, the Wolverines steadied and took the match by scores of 21-25, 25-21, 26-28, 25-22, and then 15-12. Allison Jacobs and Ella Demetrician powered the attack with 18 kills apiece, while Samara Gordon added 13 and Serena Niambio chipped in 10 on an efficient .474 clip. Setters Morgan Burke and Camille Edwards kept the offense humming, finishing with 32 and 19 assists respectively. On the back line, Maddie Kukrin dug 22 balls to ignite transition, and at the net, Niambio with 5 blocks and Jenna Haynes with 4 helped the Wolverines win key points late in the game.
On Sunday, November 2nd, Michigan raced out to a 2-set lead at Cliff Keen Arena, but fell in 5 to Purdue 2-3, with scores of 25-22, 25-17, 19-25, 20-25, and 10-15. Jacobs again led the way with 17 kills and Demetrician adding 13 and Gordon contributing 8. Burke dished 30 assists and Edwards added 16 to steer a balanced attack. Kukran anchored the defense with 14 digs, and Michigan's block was active all match. Niambio had 7, Haynes had 6, and Gordon had 5 to help the Wolverines rack up 14 team stuffs, while the service line applied pressure with 7 aces on the day.
Following our bye week this weekend, Saturday afternoon football shifts to Chicago on Saturday, November 15th, as the number 21 Michigan Wolverines clash with the Northwestern Wildcats at the historic Wrigley Field. Kickoff is set for noon Eastern on Fox. Michigan steps in at 7-2 overall, 5-1 in the Big Ten, looking to stay atop the conference, while Northwestern sits at 5-3 overall and 3-2 in Big Ten play, ready to make a statement. Historically, the Wolverines own this series, leading all time with a record of 60 wins, 15 losses, and 2 ties. Northwestern has built a reputation this year on its defense, limiting opponents to under 17 points per game, and thrives when it controls tempo and avoids mistakes. The offensive side of the ball has been less consistent, averaging roughly 22 points per game, meaning the Wildcats will need to make each possession count.
For Michigan, there's some key player news. Running back Justice Haynes is set to undergo foot surgery following an injury, and his return for this season remains uncertain. In his absence, fellow back Jordan Marshall has stepped up, posting 3 consecutive 100-yard rushing games, including a 185-yard, 3-touchdown performance in his most recent outing. Michigan's offense remains balanced and physical, while on defense, the Wolverines continue to win the turnover battle and kick ass in the trenches. If Michigan dominates the line of scrimmage and limits mistakes, they'll be well positioned to extend their edge in the series. But with Northwestern's defense ready to make it a grind, this one could require Michigan to fight for every yard.
So I'll be the first to admit I was a little hesitant with the preseason hype for men's basketball.
Understandably.
Especially with so many new guys, so many new pieces coming together. Right. But after that Oakland game, I know it's Oakland. This team seems legit.
Oakland's a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made a deep run into March Madness before in recent years, but I mean, for Michigan basketball to really shell out that win by that many points, and their turnovers weren't bad at all either. I think the entire game was around 9. This team is going to be something special.
Yeah, we're not known for scoring that many points usually. The last game we had with 100 points, it was a couple years ago. It was the first time since a couple years. And 3-point, it seemed like we couldn't miss.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the offense is just much more explosive now too.
Yep.
We're not having to run down the shot clock every time. We're able to just quickly in transition make a play, whether it's in the paint or behind the arc. I really like the depth of this team, and I think it's going to be a really fun team to watch.
Even being Chrysler yesterday was insanely fun. I mean, Adai Mara being 7'3", dude could just hit the net with his hands and not
He
even...
just bullies people in the paint.
Right.
Like, no one can really touch him right there.
So the entire game was so fun, and I can't wait to see them actually have a real test against Wake Forest on Tuesday at Little Caesars Arena.
Well, that'll be all for this week's episode of Wolf TV SportsCenter. I'm Connor Woolley.
And I'm Audrey Setnar.
Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.